Hey folks, I am back, and I guess we're ready for some more Let's Play Stationeers. So if I upload this next Tuesday, which I plan to do, that will be, I think, 6 weeks since the last time I uploaded. And I'm gonna go hydrate and take care of the greenhouse while I maybe give you guys a bit of an explanation. I kind of feel like if you guys are gonna give me your time to watch these videos, then you probably deserve an explanation of where I've been for the past 6 weeks. So, I'll try to keep it brief though. Part of the issue there we go. One issue, I think I got a little burned out. As the base has grown and more developed, the projects have, of course, gotten larger and more complex. And some time back, I stated that I wanted to do videos that were 30 to 45 minutes in length, and that's become increasingly difficult with these larger projects like what we have in here. We're seeing, you know, the raw recording being almost 3 hours, and it's difficult to cut that down. Especially given that one of the goals of this is that I'm learning, and I want the viewers to be learning, you know, about this game. And so there's a certain amount of explanation that's kind of expected. Oh. Okay, well, I just pulled that one up, apparently. In addition to the sort of burnout, if that's what it was, I also developed a really nasty ear infection that lingered really until this past week. So to say I was under the weather was a bit of an understatement. The only thing of common pain that really compares to that is probably dental pain, which is a special kind of hell, right? So I did, though, try to carry on. After a couple of weeks having not uploaded, I did start work on the next project, which I think I may have explained in the past the way I do this. Decide what the project's going to be, and then I branch off a separate save file. And that save file is where I will build out the project, test it out, and then tear it down, and that gives me my parts list. However, the current project, which I have planned and may not get to in this video, is a system to produce fuel for the furnace and possibly for rocket use as well. My initial design, which I built to completion and tested, worked pretty well. It used the electrolyzer. And during testing, I discovered that while it was a bit slow, it was working well, and then I noticed that it had pretty much wiped out all of my battery charges. So I had to sort of back up and rethink that. And at this point, I've decided on and in fact built and tested out a different system, slightly more complex logic, but using the gas mixer. Definitely more power efficient. The electrolyzer, I think there are some ways you can mitigate it, but it's a real power hog. So, dealing with this ear infection and then having to redo the design of that system. That was a part of the problem, and again, burnout. And then the new update came out a couple of weeks ago, which we'll talk about that more. And I was sort of hesitant to keep working on videos right away because I knew there were going to be bugs and other issues that needed to be addressed. And I also kind of wanted to figure out what some of the major changes might be. And most of those changes are under the hood, although there are a couple that are more obvious. And then, while dealing with that, almost 2 weeks ago, as of this recording, my father passed away. This was somewhat unexpected. He's not been in great health, but we didn't think he was in imminent danger of passing. And that sort of, throws a monkey wrench in things. So that's another reason why it's been 6 weeks since I've uploaded. Now, I do hope to go back to weekly videos. But I also believe I'm going to have to start breaking projects up into multiple video arrays. It's very difficult to edit down a 3-hour source video into something more manageable for YouTube. And ultimately, when I do these, I have done the project in question multiple times by the time the video is uploaded, or at least gone through the process. Because I do the test, the initial test build, and then I tear it down, build out my parts list, and then get the parts, and then record live for the video. And then I have to edit and cut down the video to make it suitable for YouTube. And then after that, after I upload to YouTube, I do the timestamps so that people can skip to parts of the video that are most relevant to them. So this means that I have gone through a video at least twice before it's ever gone live. In addition to the actual recording. I have refined my workflow a bit. I can edit a little faster. But it's still not as fast as I would like. And when the source video is 3 hours long, that exponentially increases the workload. Alright, let's get the greenhouse taken care of. So, let's head back over to the workshop. So the new update, again, most of the changes are under the hood, performance increases. You may have noticed when the sun came up, in the past, sunrise and sometimes sunset would cause a bit of stutter, despite the fact that I have a fairly beefy computer. But that doesn't seem to happen anymore, which is nice. The performance has always been pretty good, but in this case, it seems like the one place where I did see performance issues has been cleared up. Okay. That's weird. I've actually loaded this save file a few times since the update, including tonight while I'm recording, or prior to recording, and the lander has always been where it started until this time. Very strange. Okay then. So, as far as the new update goes, like I said, most of it's under the hood. There are two changes, though, that are a little more obvious. The first and less important one is they have changed the voice for the EVA suit. That doesn't seem to say anything when the jetpack goes on and off. I'm sure we'll hear it at some point. At any rate, this new voice is, I think, pretty universally disliked. I haven't seen anyone say anything on the forums or elsewhere that they liked it. Lots of comments that they don't. I kind of feel bad if there is a voice actor that has recorded these voice lines, because some people have been kind of unkind. It's not that it's really bad, it just, I don't know, I don't like it. Maybe it's because I'm old and I fear change. But the second and actual important issue is all of this solar panel control stuff is broken. This system, if you may recall from one of our early videos, reads the solar angle from a daylight sensor, multiplies it by 1.8 to get a fair approximation of how many degrees the panel needs to be elevated, and then writes that value to all of the solar panels. As you can see, the sun is over there, the panels are not pointed at it. However, the good news is the changes make it a bit more logical, and instead of using degrees for the rotation and the elevation being a percentage, now it's degrees for both. Cows Are Evil has an excellent video on this, and I'm going to actually be replacing this with basically what he did in his. Going to essentially just copy his code, which is IC code, and it's very short, very brief. So let's give this a pause and let me get some parts together and we'll go do that. All right, so we've got our IC housing and our IC chip. Go ahead and name it. There we go. Okay, so what we need to do is essentially the solar sensor will be moving it into a position where it will read the solar angle in a horizontal and a vertical parameter. So let's just go ahead and start with the alias for that. We'll put that on device 0. Now another thing we need to do, let me back out of here.
Pressure critical.
Oh my.
Temperature critical. Oxygen critical. Cognition low. Low pressure.
Did I just fall through the world? Ah, okay. I'm guessing that's a bug. Yeah. So let's not do that anymore. So, that was the new suit voice, by the way. Not great, right? But anyway, so what I was trying to do is get the hash code or hash value for solar panels, because we're going to be using a new command we haven't used in the past to send a batch command to all of the solar panels, similar to a batch writer, but in the IC code. This is the type of panels we're using. We click it, it copies it to the clipboard. It's very handy. We'll just avoid using the chair because I think that's what happened and how I fell through the floor. And now we'll define the solar panel hash code in a more user-friendly way. Now we start off with, again, all of these are just loops. And this one's a very simple one. Again, I'm basically copying almost verbatim from Cows Are Evil. If you haven't checked out his videos, I highly recommend that you do. But he's the one who came up with this right after the update dropped. And it works excellent. So first we read in from the sensor, the daylight sensor, the horizontal angle, and in that case we can just write it directly to the solar panels. So we load the horizontal value from the solar sensor into register 0. And then we write that value from register 0 into the horizontal parameter for all of the solar panels attached to this network. That's the SB command, which is similar to the store command that we've used to store on various variables on devices, but in this case it's a batch command. We can see it right here. Stores register value to variable on all output network devices with the provided type hash, which is defined here. So the horizontal works easily, and this will rotate the solar panels to face the correct direction. Then we read the vertical component from the sensor, and we'll just use register 0 again. Now it gets a little tricky here. What we're going to do is take that value and subtract it from 90. Because, well, I don't fully have my head wrapped around it. But essentially what we're doing is we're assuming if the panel is pointed at 90 degrees straight up, if we subtract this value from it, then it will be pointed at the correct vertical angle from completely all the way down to vertical. So we'll do our math. And what we're doing here is we're storing into register 0 90 minus whatever is in register 0. And then we write register 0 to the vertical parameter for all of the solar panels. Put in a yield command just to give it some breathing room. And then jump back to start. And that's it. Again, check out Calzer Evil. He has excellent videos on IC code and done some really clever stuff with it. So now that we've done that, select the correct IC housing, export to it. And there we go. So the first thing we need to do is we need to move that daylight sensor. And while we're at it, we're going to clean up some of this wire. And we want to have it placed like this with the small end pointed towards sunrise. Put it there out of the way. And all of this can go away. Clean up some more of this cable. I think we'll just put this right here. Should probably name this. Yep, that works. And there we go. I may have these adjusted wrong. I didn't consider the fact that these are actually already turned 90 degrees. It turned them to 180. The orientation of the base here is affecting the actual orientation they need to be facing. That's unfortunate. We're going to have to revisit this code. Since I have these oriented this way, I'm not going to move all of these. We'll just have to revisit the code. Let's try. Adding 90. Because I believe that's what I did initially, is turned them 90 degrees. Because before we weren't tracking them horizontally at all. Alright. Let's see if this works. Hadn't considered this particular wrinkle. Alright, there we go. Hey, look, they are at 270 degrees. Which seems right. Now we just get to wait and see if they orient themselves correctly in the morning. I'm pretty sure that's got it fixed. Alright, so let's get that taken care of. While we wait on the sun to go down and come back up so we can check that out. Batteries are not looking great. There's another preparation I need to make. So as I said, the next project planned is a fuel mixing system for the furnace and possibly for use with the rocket. In order to do that, I'll need to mix oxygen and hydrogen. However, the mixer, of course, as we've dealt with in the past, we like the gases to have the same temperature when they mix so that they mix accurately. So what we're going to do is we're going to change out all of this so that these are insulated pipes and tanks. And then we're also going to set this up so that the oxygen and hydrogen are sharing the same temperature. So we'll pause for a bit and I'll go get some parts and maybe go ahead and swap that out. Alright, so one quick thing we need to do before we upgrade all this to insulated plumbing is we want to salvage the hydrogen that's in that tank, so let's go ahead and plunk us down a pump here. I think we'll do it that way. Turn this filtration system on. max that out, turn it on, and we'll let that go for a bit. I think we're going to pull that pump out too. In fact, I probably should have just pulled that pump and used it here. But that's a pressure reg. Never mind. There we go. Now this pump can pull what's charged this line out as well. And it seems to be working pretty good. Alright, we'll let that do its work and we'll resume getting our parts. Okay, we are back with our parts. So we've got a couple of stacks of insulated pipe, insulated tank, heat exchanger, and we've also got some red paint. This is just about done emptying. I think that's close enough. We probably don't care about 10 pascals. Go ahead and pull that out. And I guess we'll just fix this wiring and then tear all this down. Let's go ahead and make our lives easier. Okay, texture's missing on pipe labels. Interesting. Again, bugs are to be expected. Here's our pressure regulator. I think we want to set that to 5. And rename it too. There we go. There we go. I think that's pretty much got that squared away. This is not insulated, but I don't think these pumps and pressure regulators allow for temperature fluctuations. This didn't need moving. Still shows 1 Pascal. It's odd. Okay. So, this is now set up to keep our volatiles at a constant temperature. And now we want to make that temperature the same as the oxygen. So with this system over here, we had 2 parts to it. We have the heat exchangers from the hot waste line to heat these gases up. And does a pretty good job. And then we linked these 3 tanks with 2 heat exchangers between them so that they would all be the same temperature as well. And again, that's working just fine. So what we're going to do, since we know that we're only really going to use this as a mixture with hydrogen, or with oxygen rather, we're just going to put a heat exchanger in here and tie it into the oxygen line. Let's find a good place for it. I think we'll put it there. It'll give us a little more room. And we'll paint it red. Now, this is going to be essentially heating this gas using that same heating system. And any heat that's transferred from the oxygen line into this is going to come from this system over here, and therefore all 3 of these tanks will be rendered colder in that case. But this is a pretty robust system, and it works pretty well to keep all of these at the correct temperature. So this is just going to feed off of that downstream of it. Let's go ahead and grab 1 white pipe. Save ourselves a little paint. You should see that warming up now, I think. Well, there's not much in there to warm up. Go ahead and get the filtration back on. Oh yeah, yes, that is very quickly warming up. And there should be a corresponding decrease in temperature in these 3 tanks. But as they cool off, their warming systems kick on. There goes that one. So in a few minutes, this should all stabilize, and all 4 of these tanks should be at the same temperature, somewhere in the neighborhood of 20 degrees Celsius. See how much volatiles we have left in here. Oh, it's pulled it all out already. Well, there we go. So I think I'm probably going to call it here. The next step, as I've mentioned, is to build a system for mixing fuel over here. I plan to do it on the roof. I really don't like the idea of storing fuel. I've had bad experiences with that in the past, but we do need to store some, if only for the furnace. However, I'm going to put it at a safe distance by building a scaffold above this, put it higher up, and we may take the opportunity to add a beacon too, so we're less likely to get lost in the vast expanse of the lunar surface. But that'll be the next episode. And for now, got our prep work ready. Our hydrogen will soon be at the same temperature as our oxygen, and we can safely mix it accurately. So, I apologize for taking, I guess, 6-7 weeks to upload a video. I've already forgotten how many. But I'm back, and I hope to get back on track. I do think in the future, videos will probably be shorter. Like, for example, my initial plan had been for this to be part of that project, but I need to start breaking things down into smaller components just so it's a little easier to manage. But for now, I appreciate you hanging out, building with me, and yeah, sorry for ghosting you guys for a few weeks. Oh, one more thing, I'd like to give a shout out. I discovered another Stationeers YouTuber. He does other things as well. It's Dragon Nation Gaming. I'll try to remember to put a link in the description. You should check him out. He's entertaining to watch, and I've enjoyed his videos. So for now, guess I'll catch you guys next time. Thanks for watching.